Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Corey Chambers.
And I'm Shirley Chan. The final vote is in. A 3% increase for 1-year leases, and for 2-year leases, landlords can raise the rent 2.75% the first year and 3.2% the second year.
A lot of people very unhappy about this. Big Katie Corrado live with more on that meeting. It's breaking now. Katie.
Corey, Shirley, good evening to you both. Tenants never stopped protesting these rent increases before, during, and after the meeting. People were chanting, holding signs, really just coming out en masse to protest any sort of rent increase. They said that it should go up 0%, nothing at all. But despite those outcries, the Rent Guidelines Board did vote to increase the rent for rent-stabilized apartments.
The motion passes by a vote of 5-4.
New York City's Rent Guidelines Board passing a rent hike Wednesday night for roughly 2 million New Yorkers who live in rent-stabilized housing. The board approved a 3% rent increase for 1-year leases. For 2-year leases, rent will increase 2.75% the first year and 3.2% the second year.
You say you only raise it a little bit, but that little bit is a lot to a lot of people.
Tenants and tenants' rights advocates remained loud and vocal throughout the duration of the RGB meeting, which included a visible police presence and roped off space between the audience and the board. 2 members of the board vocalized their strong opposition to any increase and encouraged tenants to continue fighting for affordable housing.
To increase the rent during this housing crisis and homelessness crisis that we are having is devastating, it's violent.
Others on the board argued that a 2% increase won't even cover the increased cost of property taxes.
A 5% increase in rent does not put 1 penny of profit into the pockets of owners of these buildings. The 5% increase basically covers most of the rise in operating costs.
Tenants say the increase will be a difficult, if not impossible, financial pill to swallow.
Definitely a hardship. I work part-time. My wife is a full-time public school teacher. If not for rent-stabilized housing, we could not live in the city.
It's just too much money. It's just too much. We don't make that much.
Mayor Adams also responding to the vote, saying in part, quote, "Finding the right balance is never easy, but I believe the board has done so this year, as evidenced by affirmative votes from both tenant and public representatives." And the Legal Aid Society has already come out and criticized this decision, calling it immoral and saying that these rent increases will lead to more New Yorkers being displaced from their homes, ending up on the streets and in shelters. Reporting live on the Upper East Side, I'm Katie Corrado, Pix 11 News.
Now, this will hit a lot of New Yorkers hard. Thank you, Katie, for breaking it down for us.
All right, well, this will certainly hit your commute hard tomorrow morning. Look at that on the left. You can see it. The rain moving in. It could make things awfully messy tomorrow.
Yeah, from our cameras, you can see that it is not quite here yet. But, Mr. G, I've got my umbrella in my bag. I am ready for the commute home tonight.
Smart woman, and you're going to need it tomorrow morning for the AM drive. And as Corey mentioned before, we got to deal with this. A little concerned because you should leave yourself an extra 15, 20 minutes. You may get some nuisance flooding because in spots it'll come down hard. 67 degrees. You can see again temperatures are very April-like on the first day of summer. There's the rain. It's beginning to make a move in our direction. There's a lot of dry air ahead of it, so we will wait a couple of hours. It looks like about 2 hours, perhaps, for the air to become saturated and move on in here. But the moisture is gathering. The onshore flow is there. We're all set. The computer models are saying rain. And there's the yellow, which is good and moderate. And there's the red, which is heavy. And there's the storm heading in our direction. It will taper off a little bit in the afternoon hours, but the morning could be a little rough. Again, damp throughout the day. Evening showers will continue. Real chilly temps in the low 60s. We're going to go after the amount of rain that we're going to get here in the next 48 hours later on.
All right, G, thank you.